Good afternoon, peers and professor. For my project this week, I did the Richardson ground squirrel. The reason as to why I chose the Richardson ground squirrel is you can find an abundance of them here in the North Dakota region where I'm currently stationed at, as well as due to their massive population here in North Dakota, they're considered a pest for crops as well as farmland. The common and scientific names. The common name of the Richardson ground squirrel it has, of course, the Richardson ground squirrel, but also it has a nickname which many people here in North Dakota call it. It's called a Dakota rat or a Dak rat. The scientific name for the Richardson ground squirrel is Eurystilus richardsoni. Some of the geographical locations where you can find the Richardson ground squirrel are throughout the Midwest of the United States as well as the country of Canada just north of the border. Some of the United States regions or states where you would find the Richardson ground squirrel include North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, as well as Iowa. The Canadian regions include Alberta, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan. The physical description of the Richardson ground squirrel includes it is a medium-sized ground squirrel, approximately 7 to 9 inches. It has a black and gray and tan color. The black and gray are on the top of its torso, and the tan part you would find in its belly side. The size and color of the Richardson ground squirrel aid in helping the species to blend into its environment, as well as protect it from any predators such as falcons or eagles. As you can see, we have a picture below of a albino Richardson ground squirrel. These are very hard to find in nature. The life cycle and reproduction. The life expectancy of the Richardson ground squirrel is approximately 37 years. The mating season for the Richardson ground squirrel is early spring to late spring. The litter size of the Richardson ground squirrel is approximately 5 to 8 young in an annual year. Hibernation is a key for the Richardson ground squirrel as it spends most of its life underground in hibernation. For example, an adult male will go into hibernation for approximately 4 to 8 months. As you can see in this graph below, describes the hibernation cycle of the Richardson ground squirrel. Structure and function. The cardiovascular system of the Richardson ground squirrel allows for blood to be circulated throughout the body of the species. During hibernation, the Richardson ground squirrel's heart rate reduces significantly to preserve energy. As you can see in the picture below, this is done by rolling itself into a ball. It rolls itself into a ball while it's underground and in hibernation in its hole. The physiological state of hibernation for the Richardson ground squirrel is named a state of torpor. Energy ecology. The diet which the Richardson ground squirrel consists of is mainly vegetarian, which includes leaves and seeds. It consumes about half its weight in leaves and seeds. Occasionally, the Richardson ground squirrel has known to be eating insects, and on very rare occasions has it been known to be a cannibalist, in where cannibalism is done in order for it to protect its own kind. The habitat of the Richardson ground squirrel entails a short grass prairie found in the United States, as well as mixed grass prairies of North America. A majority of its life it spends underground, which it digs for hibernation and shelter. Some of its natural predators, which we have discussed earlier, include eagles, falcons, and owls. In conclusion, the Richardson ground squirrel has a huge population in multiple states in the United States as well as in Canada. The medium-sized ground squirrel is black and gray in color. The Richardson ground squirrel lives approximately 3 to 7 years, with a litter of 5 to 8. During hibernation, the Richardson ground squirrel curls itself into a ball and slows its cardiovascular system. It primarily consumes vegetation, occasionally insects, and rarely cannibalistic, once again in order to protect its own kind. The habitat, which involves short mixed grass and prairies. These are the references which I've used. I would just like to thank you all for listening to my presentation, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.